Hello, Internet. This is Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite toys. Um, and to be perfectly honest, the reason why I started this channel was because I wanted to. There's just a few toys that I really wanted to express myself on, and I wanted to work and get good enough to the point where I felt like I was good enough that I could review these toys to give them the justice they deserve. And there's a short list of them, and I'm probably gonna burn through them all fairly quickly, but I don't know. But but just a little bit of backstory first before I pull stuff out. It's 2018, and well, the stupid among us are eating Tide Pods. The cool kids among us are waiting for Playmates Classics Voltron, which is really cool. So they came out last year. Early last year. They came out with the like 18-inch um Voltron from the Netflix version, which by the way is really good. If you haven't seen the Netflix Voltron show, you should go watch it right now. Um and they like all combined up, and it was super cool, and it was great. I actually have like two friends who have one, and I've played with them, and it's a lot of fun. Um, this year, they're basically kind of reshelling that idea to make it into the Classics Voltron. And when I saw that, I knew two things. First of all, I was going to review it, and second of all, I knew there's no possible way for me to review it without comparing it to the Soul of Chogokin Voltron. And so, since that's going to have to happen, I've got my Soul of Chogokin Voltron, and we're going to do a review of it right now, even though I don't know if I'm quite ready for this. Soul of Chogokin Voltron is like one of the coolest things I've ever touched in my life, and I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for this, but we're gonna give it our best effort. I am starting in line mode because it's a combining thing. You got to start in the uncombined mode. It's just how it is. Um, but yeah, so this is the Soul of Chogokin Voltron. Fun fact: Bandai, who makes Soul of Chogokin, they were actually the first ones who released the Go Lion figure way back, like forever ago. Um, and so, and then other companies picked it up, and other companies did stuff, and we had like stuff that was a good effort, but ended up actually ultimately being kind of sucky, like the masterpiece Voltron and whatnot. But Bandai got it back. They gave it the Soul of Chogokin treatment, and it is an amazing figure, just absolutely amazing. But anyhow, let me get into all this. We're gonna start with one of the things that's interesting to point out is that you basically got three classifications of lions here. You got the arm lions, the leg lions, and the body lion. And so even though you've got left arm and right arm, they are essentially the same lion. Even though they look different, they are essentially the same lion. So I'm just really gonna like throw one to the side and talk about the other one in particular, because a lot of the stuff like posability and stuff like that is going to be the same for both of them. So looking at the red lion, because I do like the red lion, it's not a very big figure. One of the things that I've heard complaints about is that they wish that the Soul of Chogokin Voltron was bigger. And I've been one of those people who have never really, been real self-conscious about size. I've never really been worried about how big something is or whatnot. I think that if it's designed well and engineered well, it doesn't matter if it's huge. Voltron first of all is a massively huge super robot. Like, I mean, we're talking like skyscraper sized robots. Just really, really, really big. And so it's not like you're going to have a lot in your collection that's going to scale appropriately with it. Like, I mean, if I had Transformers, I don't think I have a single Transformer that will accurately scale with this guy. I would say that maybe your Optimus Prime figure would be about this tall. Possibly, maybe smaller. Voltron is a very, very, very big robot. But anyhow, let's get into this. I really like that you've got some like neck detail on these lions. Their head will look, they'll rotate a bit, look up and down. The arms will, or the legs, come out a little bit. They are on ball joints, and they'll move all around. So not parts of this foot are die cast, and parts of it are just plastic, plastic metal in there. So each of these guys has a little bit of metal. There's also metal inside this mid torso hinge right here. Just giving it a little bit of heft, not really heavy, but a little bit of heft. But yeah, you've got good posability on his legs with the ball joints. His arms will good posability in the elbow joints. And even the feet have got like their little hinge. No claw posability or whatnot, but that's all good. One of the things that you can do with these guys that's pretty cool, straighten that out. Move this joint here so it's moving like that instead, and you can sit these guys down on their butts, which is cool. That's actually a lot of fun. Some of them, I mean, your mileage may vary if you don't like your lions sitting around, but whatevs. He's got his little tail here is on a little tiny ball joint. This is the arm connector, as you can probably expect if you've ever had a Voltron in the past, like, what has it been, like 30 some odd years? If you've ever had a Voltron, you know how this all works. Some of the things that I like about these figures is that they come with a ton of accessories. Let me grab these all over here. So like this guy here, he's got this doohickey, and that'll attach onto here. Yeah, like that. And it's strange because these accessories, they really only, actually maybe this goes on the other side. They really only showed up, like they never really got used in the show, but they were all in the like opening animation. And they like have, the credits rolling and whatnot and showing who did what and what did what and et cetera, et cetera. And also showing the lines so that the kids had something to look at. The adults had something to read and the kids had something to look at. And so each of these, you've got your arm lions, right? And one of them has got little pegs and the other one has got little slots in the shoulder. And so one of them will hold the pegs and one of them will hold the slots, and that's how you can put them all in the right place and not get them mixed up, which is nice. It's a nice little detail, and I like that they do stuff like that. Otherwise I'd be sitting here wondering, gosh, which weapon goes with which lion or whatnot. Also, they have these little details that open up in the back. If I can get this open, which I can if I use a pointy thing. Or not. Geez, Zach. There we go. So that's cool. They will all have an opening jaw with a gun in the mouth. And yeah, they'll run around and look like they're doing cool stuff. And yeah, that's going to basically be it for the arm guys right now. Let's get those put off to the side. Bringing in the leg lions, the yellow lion and the blue lion. Again, they've got little weapons that will attach onto them. That's the other one. That's the other one. And this one right here. And this one right here, it doesn't have anything that really pops out, but that will move around. This guy does have a thing that pops out, which is cool. I'll get into that in a second. First, I'm going to go over the articulation. Articulation, again, is going to be exactly identical between these leg lions. So they've got an actual full ball joint in the neck. He's got an opening mouth with a little gun. It's a bit harder to get to this one because it's like recessed into his mouth a bit more, like a tongue almost. But he does have a gun in there, and it will come out and point at things if I head away, which actually I do. Kind of, sort of. Maybe that one doesn't move. One of the other things, I didn't point this out about the other guys, but they have it as well. They have their little mouth blades, and then they will attach via a tab in their mouth. So they can each hold a weapon. One of the points of posability that I like about this is that you've got some motion right here, which will turn into angle articulation in the combined mode, but it's also a good piece of line articulation in this mode. You've also got a mid-torso joint, which is good for, you can have these lines sitting down as well. Ratchets in their knee joints here. You've got some motion in their ankles and some rotation in their ankles, which is a good stuff right there. These joints here are not on ball joints like the smaller lions, but they are on universal joints, and they'll come out and they'll move all around, which is actually pretty nice. And these lions, their articulation just feels a bit more solid than the arm ones, and so like you can get some pretty good like poses out of them and whatnot. But a lot of good, just the sculpt and the detail on these things. By the way, both their upper and their lower leg is die cast, so these have a lot more weight than the arm ones, not just because they're bigger, but because they've got a lot more die cast as well. Let's get that in there as well. So let's get these guys out of the way. Let's bring in the black lion. The black lion. So first of all, as a lion, I think he looks more like a bear, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, that's not anything new about Voltrons. I do like there's a lot of lion specific engineering in here. First of all, it's nice that he's got good ratchets in all of his joints. Even his ankle joints have got ratchets in them. His toes attached with a ball joint. Same with the back feet as well. A little bit of ratchet there. This guy is also designed to sit down. And he's got this mid-torso joint here. And he's got these things here, which is these big cutouts in his leg, which is kind of like, it's cool, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, that's there specifically so that he can sit. And I like that they can sit. I think that that's really cool. When we first saw, I know that Infinity Gokin's King of Beast came out before this Voltron, but I don't recall seeing them with any kind of sitting posability. Because I do recall that when I saw a picture that Bandai released of these guys all sitting down, I was just like, what? That's awesome. I don't know why that's awesome to me, but it was. and in fact still is. Come on, open. If you open his mouth, he's got a little bit of detail in there as well. He doesn't have a tab in here, but if you'll notice, there's these little notches right here, and that will fit in behind his teeth, and he'll hold this quite nicely. But this guy also has a fair amount of die cast in him. So these panels are plastic, but I'm positive that there's die cast inside them as well. His lower legs are all completely just metal, chromed metal, of course. And just one of the things that continually impresses me, you handle these figures and just there's so much engineering that has gone into them, and there's so much detail and just the design is top notch, and it looks really good. It feels really good. These are just, I tell people that these are absolutely the best Voltrons that you can buy, and I still believe that. And I know that we've had some good Voltrons that have come out, like the Ultimate EX Voltron and the Infinity Gokin. I guess now it's been re-released as Icarus Toys or something like that. I don't know exactly, Icarus something. And that's actually a really good alternative. If I know that Soul of Chogokin Voltron has become scarce lately, and its price is climbing in the aftermarket. And what was $300 new, which is when I got this guy, is now like $500 for a used one, and like $800 for a new one. And I don't know that. This figure is the best Voltron that you can get, but even still, I don't know that it's $500 worth of really good Voltron. So the Icarus one may be an excellent counter offer if you really need a good Voltron and you're not willing to shell out for this one. I have seen comparisons of the King of Beast version compared to the Soul of Chogokin. I still think that the Soul of Chogokin is better, but they do hit a lot of similar points. It's really interesting. So Infinity Gokin came out with the King of Beast version of Voltron, and that was all completely third party, unlicensed, unofficial. But in a move that you never ever see from Hasbro Takara, the third party that we're most familiar with, the license holder was like, wow, that's really good. And they contacted them and said, hey, you want to re-release this, but as an official product? And that's what the Icarus Voltron is that's the same figure. It's been changed and retweaked, and now is available as an official first party figure. So that's cool. It's something that you'll never see Hasbro do. You'll never see Takara do it. They just, I don't know, don't operate that way. One of the things that is kind of standard among Soul of Chogokins is, of course, they all come with, like, most of these Soul of Chogokin figures come with just a crap ton of parts. And, as a collector, of course, you don't want to lose any of your parts. And so Bandai is usually real keen on giving you a stand to put all of your parts on. I say usually in that my other Soul of Chogokin figure, which is Gao Gaigar, does not come with a stand, which is kind of unfortunate. Though if I were to pick up the ridiculously overpriced Star Gao Gaigar upgrade set, that does come with a stand, but the whole thing costs almost as much as the regular Gao Gaigar itself. And so I'm like, how about no? So all of the parts have got you know, tabs and slots to attach things onto, and they will just, each one has got like this little outline so you know where to put it. It's even got accessory parts for, like, I mean, literally parts for spots for every single accessory, even the alternate face. And that'll slide in right there. On the top here, you've got a space over here for that piece, and a space over here for that piece. And on the other side, first that and the little rocket launcher thing. And this little spot here is for the handle, for the like shield thingamajig. And then each of these has got its own little home. Like that. Ta-da! And then you can put the blazing sword here. And you can put these other little swords here. And this is actually a really good way to hold all of your accessories in one spot. So I'm going to stick that off to the side for a bit, because we're going to come to that. Actually, I'm just going to move it. One other thing to point out. So I've got the plaque on here that says Voltron. It does come with an alternate Go Lion Voltron, or Go Lion plaque, because of course the Voltron is the American name for it, and Go Lion was the Japanese name for it. And so you can have it either way, depending on whether you prefer Go Lion or whether you prefer Voltron. I prefer Voltron because that's always been my thing. So, all right, to get these guys transformed up, what we're going to do is we're going to close this, put this up. There is this panel right here that folds out. This is one of the things that I really like about this. And that is going to form a heel spur. It's really cool. One of the other engineering details that I love about this figure is you'll notice that the arms squeeze together for leg mode. When you lower his head down, oh, don't make a liar out of me, they will automatically pop back out. And so that's kind of a cool, like, engineering detail there. We're going to fold these legs up. Right here, we're going to open up this panel here and fold this one into, clicks into place. The tail will just fold up against there. And there's a leg all done. Now for the other one, it's going to be exactly the same as the first one. Put the head up, flip out the heel spur, fold up the legs, pull this out, push this in, fold that up. There is the other leg, all good to go. This is going to be the right arm. I'm going to fold up the legs again. These will all slide in. The mouth closes, and then you slide the neck in. That will click into place. And we're going to turn this so that the joint faces this way. Put this down like that. Left arm, same thing. Fold in the legs, fold in the legs, fold in the tail, fold in the, ta-da! Now for the black lion, we're going to, this whole thing, by the way, comes out so that you can get better posability in the line mode. But we're going to push that back up into place, and it's going to snap in. You've got this part here is going to click into place. Now this whole torso compresses like that, and this is actually how it's supposed to be in Voltron mode. I know a lot of people like to pull that out, give them a slightly slimmer waist. It does enhance the posability ever so slightly. I don't know. It's just kind of, if you want to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. But because that's not technically how it goes, I'm not going to do that right now. For these arms, for these front legs here, you're going to open up this panel on the front, and the foot is just going to go recess into there, and it's going to close back up. Again, with the other leg, open that up, fold that in, close that up. Now you're going to put this into place and close them in. There are these tabs right here, and this is going to slide into place. It's going to help lock these legs, because of course these are all on their own joints, but you're going to be plugging stuff into the body there, and you don't want to have to, fight with them all the time. So let's get Voltron combined up. We're going to, there's a button on the back. Go ahead, and that's going to put in a lock. You see here, there's a tab right here, and then you can kind of see the locking mechanism back there. So this tab here is going to plug into the slot on the leg, and then that other tab is going to click onto there. And you'll notice that while this whole leg is chrome plated, that's gray plastic, that's gray plastic. That's so that when you're putting it in there, when it locks on, you're not damaging your chrome plating by putting this in there. I think that's a fantastic detail. I mean, Bandai is the undisputed master of diecast and the super robots, and I am so impressed with the engineering. We're going to take this once it's seated fully, close that in. That's going to lock that up. Again, with the other side, throw that in there. Make sure his foot is in the right position. Push that in until it's all the way seated, and close that up. Ah, man, it's already looking awesome. Awesome. For the upper body, let's raise up my camera. For the upper body, the tail actually goes into the slot. And you'll see that their designs, even when they're in all the way, they don't interfere with each other. It's really kind of cool. But there's legitimately like a hole that goes all the way through this guy. So we're going to attach the left arm and the right arm. And then we're going to bring up the wings. Open up the mouth again. This time we're going to open it up so that the head comes down, the face. Pull out his ears. There is Voltron, Defender of the Universe. This is a beautiful figure. This is just absolutely astounding. I had an old Matchbox Voltron from when I was a kid, and I played with that thing till I broke it. And so I've spent so much of my life playing with Voltron, and seeing this when I first put it together for the first time, every time I put it together, it just gives me chills. It's so cool. It's so fantastic. This is, absolutely the best Voltron that money can buy. Literally, the only complaint I have about this is these hollows right here. A Solo Chogokin is really, really big on, oh, well, here's your perfect transformation version, and then here's your display version. And you'll see that when I ever get around to doing some of my other Solo Chogokin reviews. And it would have been so easy to have like a little panel that just came in there to attach in there and just cover this up. Because in this mode here, like the leg only moves that far. Because of the way the lines are set up, you can't move any farther than that. So a panel would not have obstructed anything about posability at all. It's my one thing that I wish that that Bandai had done to make this a bit better. In terms of posability, so you've got the arms will move all the way out. You get the full tree pose. It will rotate all around. You'll notice that these, even though this isn't a really big figure, let me real quick size comparison him with Masterpiece Optimus Prime. He is bigger than Masterpiece Optimus Prime. Again, if this was to scale, then Prime would be like, seriously, like this tall. Like that tall. I calculated it out because somebody was like, oh, who would win the fight, Voltron or Devastator? And I'm like, Devastator comes up maybe to here on Voltron. So there wouldn't even be any kind of a fight. That's like a, sumo wrestler picking a fight with a baby. Like I'd feel bad for Devastator if he'd be stupid if he tried to fight with Voltron. Of course, I think anybody would be stupid if they tried to fight with Voltron. Voltron kicks everyone's ass. But yeah, so that's posability in there. You've got waist posability here. He does have a bit of an ab crunch. I forgot to mention his head. His head rotates and will look up and down a bit. His hips will go that far forward, that far back, only that far out. His knees will bend a little less than 90 degrees. He does have an ankle tilt, and you can move the toe around because it's on its line ball joints. And I think the important thing to keep in mind is that, the primary focus of the Solo Chogokin line is in terms of transformation and display. It's got to look good on your shelf, and it's got to have the full transformation. That's something that Bandai has been really adamant about. If you want a figure that's got like a high level of articulation, they have a smaller Super Robot Chogokin line, and they're just action figures, and they don't transform, and they don't do all this other stuff. But they will pull off like all sorts of super awesome action poses. And so, yes, this isn't the most posable, Voltron. I think that actually goes to the Ultimate EX Voltron. But this does everything it's supposed to do, and it does it better than I think any other figure does. That being said, in terms of like the elbow joint will move that far, you can extend this out, and you can actually get like just a bit of extra. Oh, hey, I put this joint on backwards. Whoopsie. There we go. You can extend this out a little bit and get some extra posability on that, which is good if you're doing like sword poses and whatnot. Which, by the way, I should probably pull out his sword. The sword, once again, has got a tab right here. That will connect onto the slot that's in the roof of the lion's mouth. And it'll hold it pretty well. Not like perfectly, but, it'll look really good. But just, I think that this is just an amazing Voltron. I think that it's beautiful. I think that it's stunning. I think that it's got a good amount of like die cast in it if you're like big on the die cast. And it's just, like this hits all of the Voltron points for me, and it hits it better than any other figure I had seen to that point. And I know I know I'm really late to the game when it comes to this review. But this is the best Voltron to get at the time. If you're looking to get a Voltron now and you don't have one, but you really want one like this, you might want to look at that Icarus one that just came out, because that's going to retail for about I don't know, $280 to $300 depending on where you get them. I could be wrong. It could be cheaper than that. I'd have to look into that. But I mean, I'm not planning on getting a second Voltron because I've already got what I feel is the best Voltron. Why would I need a second one? But yeah, Voltron is just astounding, and this Voltron, the Soul of Chogokin, is just a beautiful piece of work. It's a piece of art. I cannot recommend anything else. If you're going for absolutely the best and money isn't an object, like, this is the way to go for sure. But anyhow, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all for watching all the way through this. You are awesome. And I will talk to you later. Everybody be good to each other and have a wonderful day. See ya.